What is going on, everybody? This is another edition of How to Day Trade with Mr. Banks. I am not a financial advisor. Anything I do say on this call should not be taken as financial advice. All right, let's get started. SPY. Told you guys I'd give you how to find some levels, how to day trade it, how you could have traded it today. So let's get started. I'm just going to start with the daily. So right here on SPY, we have the daily. First things I was looking at for a bounce or where if we were headed down, which, considering yesterday, we have Fauci coming out saying hospitals being, can be overwhelmed in a couple of weeks. We have, large dark pool prints. We have, I think it's the Sacramento Kings canceled practice, COVID's rising. Today we had INVAX emergency use, COVID, vaccine was granted emergency use. So, you can kind of see where things are headed, right? So looking on the downside, I'm looking at this fib. I was looking at 457.95, which you can see it touched exactly that. The SPY honestly works on fib retracements, retracements and stuff very, very well. So, and it has been actually acting very well, as you can see, almost to a T almost. So anyways, looking at this, get some levels. So I start with the daily. I'm looking at the big picture first. Looking at a bounce at 457.95 on this fib, but I'm also looking at this 50-day, which is 459.59. So that was also something that I was looking at the beginning of the day. So two levels we could see there, 457.95 and 459.59 as my levels, okay? I guess you could also use this as a level, one of these two, but anyways, moving up, obviously we're looking at the fib. You can see that that would be a pretty big breakout point. So 467.89 on the upper level. Okay. Now let's go to the 4-hour. So I have a support line on the 4-hour again. So 200 MA, where is that? Where can we see the 200 MA? 459.45. Kind of close to the daily 50, right? So we have a 200 and we have a 50 MA, both showing a strong support area, right? 50 on the daily, we have the 200 on the 4-hour, 459.45. Daily was 459.59. And again, we have the fib, 457.95. All right, so looking at this 4-hour, I also had a level of 461.24, which I believe is the 50% fib. As you can see, it was a strong support level, right? So going back a couple of days, we see a strong support level here. This is the 4-hour, so this started at 6, so this went till 10, so this went till 2 hours into the day when we saw that bounce, right? We saw that bounce up here. So looking back, that was a place that I was looking as well. So looking at the 4-hour, so now we have a couple levels, right? Do you see how as we go down, we get more levels? So we had 457.95, which was the fib, which we saw on the daily, now the 4-hour. We had the 50 and the 200, 459.45. So let's just make it an even 459.50 area as a support. And then we had this strong support here as another level. So 461, 25, 20 area. If we want to look up though, an area that I would have looked up to today, which it did touch, was kind of like this gap down, right? So if we wanted an area level up, we could have used 465.95, or we could have used the body, which was 466.44. So both of those, we kind of could use the gauge where we could see if we do have a run up, the level up, right? So if it were to break this, I would look for obviously 467.89. And this would be the major level that I would look to take calls to run up with that strong support if it broke 467.89. So we have our down supports and we have our up supports, or upper levels, sorry. So we have our supports and resistance. So after that, take you down to the 30-minute. So 30-minute, I honestly love the most. It helps me set up for a lot of my day trades for options. I think you could find good bounces within the 30-minute time frame. So looking at levels again, right? Where did it went and go touch today? It had a gap fill. It had a gap fill. So if we take this back, let's take this off, make it a little easier to see. All right, look at this. Let's take off the 8 EMA. Whoa, what do you guys know? What do you guys know? We had a gap fill down. I don't think anybody saw this, but we had a gap fill down, right? So I drew my support on the breakout of that gap, right? So here's the support. I drew my support line. So once I went down to the 30-minute, I now had another level, right? So what is that level? And you can see exactly it bounces. Beautiful. So where was this level? 459.04. So 459.04. So kind of a new level for us. That is a little bit different. So we had, 459.95 and 459.50. So now we have 459.04 or just 459 level, which was a strong support. So what ended up happening was it broke support, right? Once we saw that it broke this major support, if we looked back right here, we would probably know that now it's going to go touch the gap. So I pretty much took I took puts right when this broke and took my profits a little bit in here, right? So I didn't find the fully flush, but at least I got something. So I hope this is helping. You can find the levels and everything. Going down, let's go to the 15 minutes. Again, yeah, the fib. And so you have that level up on the fib as well on the 15-minute that it couldn't break. All right, let's go to the 30-minute again. I want to show you guys a little something. Where's the 30-minute? That's an engulfing. It's beautiful. Let's go to, I think, the 4-hour. Where did I see that? Sorry, I wanted to show you guys something specific that I saw. Oh, I think it was on the 5-minute. Yes. Here we go on the 5-minute. Again, 5-minute, when I'm actually day trading, I'm trading on the 5-minute, 15. I look at the 30 sometimes, mostly 15, 10, 5, and then I'll go down to the 1 sometimes. But mostly on the 5, 10, and 15 are my day trading time frames. So if you take a look here, if you guys want to see something, after we broke out of this, it broke out of the 8 EMA. We can get to that later. But after it broke out of this, what do you see here on this candle? Does anybody know what this is? Well, let me show you. So we have a hanging man, right? So a hanging man, that's a potential for a reversal. So right here, you guys see this? You guys see this one right here? We had a nice hanging man for this nice reversal. And this could have been, something where you could have took a put on. So yeah, hanging man. Hanging man is a bearish equivalent of a hammer. So if anybody knows what a hammer is, it is obviously the opposite. Has the same shape, but forms at the end of an uptrend versus the end of a downtrend, which a hammer is. It indicates that there was a significant sell-off during the day, but that buyers were able to push the price up again. The large sell-off is often seen as an indication that the bulls are losing control of the market, right? And what do we see? Bulls lost control. We saw a major, major drop. I mean, you could have, if you saw this hanging man and you had that conviction, you would have banked. Awesome. So let's move a little bit forward. So we had our levels earlier. We went over a candle reversal that you could have saw to take a put on. What other information I could give you guys? Let's look right here. I actually took a put here. So right here, I was watching that. honestly, I missed this here. I was doing something else and I was, oh my God, I was so mad. But then I came back, regathered myself, and I saw that it kept failing this retest, right? So it came up, retested, failed, failed, obviously fail, 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 fail. And then you see how it's coming down? See how it's lower highs, lower highs. So right here, I took a put, right? I took a put right here. So I took a put purely, I mean, not purely based, but mostly based on, you had all of these fails, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fails. And then now you have lower highs coming after each of these fails. So there's a high, lower high, super low, lower high, lower high, lower high. And then eventually we came down and we failed. So that was another inclination. That was one spot you could have took puts, and that was one way that I saw to take puts here was the failed retest. So like, levels, guys, levels. So levels are something that you want to buy a bounce off of, right? You want to buy that bounce off of. So I first took calls. Let's take a look here. Let's go back to the 30-minute. Yeah, so talk about how to use levels now. So I first took calls right here, right? So I saw this candle. I took calls right here for the bounce, came up, sold. It's a quick scalp, very quick scalp. Came back down, and you see how much it respected this level. So yes, it broke it, but then it respected the fib, right? Came back up. On this candle, you now have this confirmation. So you could have taken calls here off of this confirmation candle, off of this strong support, right? So now you have a bounce. So these levels, you want to get your levels first, and then you want to take those levels and you want to just wait. You just want to wait. Doesn't worry about all this action, all this bullshit that's going on, right? I don't give a fuck if it's up, down, whatever. Fuck that. If it's running, whatever. You have to wait until you reach your levels of support, resistance, wherever wherever you draw them, wherever you find them. That is how you are going to trade either commons, options. I mean, this is literally you have to buy on support, resistance. So you have your levels right here. You could have taken calls, right? We have a bounce confirmation on the support bounce. And then we could have sold into resistance, right? So here's our resistance, and we could have sold into it. So now we're looking, and now we have a failed, right? So we have a failed breakout. So again, failed breakout, essentially the opposite of a bounce. It was a retest fail. And guess what did I say before when I was looking at the 5-minute? We had 5, 6 retest fails, took puts. Again, we had a fail here, took puts. You can take puts. So again, levels, levels, levels. You guys need to figure out your levels and just be patient. Be patient. I think patience is one of the biggest things you need to have, and just wait until it has a confirmation on your level, whether it's a bounce off of support, whether it's a break of resistance, right? So, I mean, technically, once this broke, you could have technically took calls here, and if you played it right, could have made money, right? On a little scalp on the breakout. Obviously, it didn't confirm that it was going to continue. So we had a drop. So we had a fail, but right. So, this could also be a breakout level where you take calls, but don't get caught off sides, right? So we have our breakout levels, but just don't get caught off sides. Or again, you could have had a limit order. Let's just say on this 30-minute, right? We had this drop. Before the drop, where was the high? It was right here. So technically, you could have set up a limit order. This could have been one of your levels, right? So let's just draw a level here. Look, SPY going up. So, right, we could have taken a level here, 462.42. All right, so once we broke this level, we could have taken calls here, and that would have been the better move to make than to take the breakout level with the fib. So we have a breakout level. You could have even put a resistance level here on this body as well, or even on this body as well. Obviously, this body breakout would have been the best, right? So we're looking at breakouts, our resistance, our retest of what the recent high was. So this was a recent high from the drop. So if we saw that we broke out from this, we could have taken calls there. Obviously, could have had a level here, right? And look at where it's going, right? So that's going right to this level. Right? So this is pretty much how, how you draw your support resistance lines. You could use the fib if the stock is respecting the fib, and then use it. If it's not, throw it out. It's not going to work, obviously. But basic support and resistance lines, drawing off of highs, previous highs and lows, pretty simple, it is very, don't overcomplicate it. It honestly is, it's a lot more simple than what you think, previous lows, previous highs, breakouts, right? Breakouts is another big thing. So let's take a look here. Yeah, let me show you your breakout. This is actually another thing. So you want to take a look here. Look, breakout. Look what happened. Retest. Interesting, right? Interesting. Breakout again. And then came back, retest, right? You had a bounce on the retest, right? So you had a little struggle bus here on this support area. So that's another thing to look at. So when a stock breaks out, I mean, you could take a look. It just goes beyond SPY. If you take a look, it usually always wants to retest the breakout. And just like I found on the 30, that's exactly what this gap fill was, right? If you take a look, you have the breakout, and then what did the stock go and do? Retested the breakout. Breakout, retest, get that in your head. I love to do that. There's always a breakout, always a retest. Yeah, hope this helped everybody. I know it's a little bit long. Hopefully it wasn't too much. Hopefully it wasn't too disorganized. I wanted to go obviously more over levels today and how to use them, how to find support resistance versus more of the indicators. So next video, I just want to just, switch it up a little bit for you guys. Next video, we can go over more indicators, maybe more SPY, maybe more momentum plays, or maybe I might even go over a long-term 5 to 10-year hold, right? Hope everyone is having a good time out there. Hope you guys have good holidays, and I will see you next time. Mr. Banks is out.